I just wanted to play through some gain. That's the mini pedal board. Just a couple pedals and the ODR one, and then the OCD for like a lead tone boost type of thing. Super cool. I really like it. And I'm playing guitar next Sunday. Um, and I'm using my mini board for the first time. I'm playing at church, mini board for the first time, and I need to extend it by one pedal, which will test my theory that I can just plug stuff in at the end and chain them together and it'll be good. Siri's talking to me right now. So that's cool, and it'll be fun just to pull like a pedal board out with one hand, set it down, plug it in, and go with the addition of one pedal because I need I always forget what it's called. My kids bought it for me. It's a JHS pedal that has chorus, vibrato, a bunch of modulation effects, and I need kind of like a rotary effect. I think I can get it out of that pedal. I'm not entirely sure. So that's what I'm gonna do. I just got home, so if you don't actually know me, me and my wife have gone out on Friday night for 10 years. It's a long story. We've just done it, had cocktails and food, and we decided to scale back just a little bit, maybe every other week or something. So we haven't been out in 2 weeks. We've door dashed. We're not animals. But we haven't really went out in like 2 weeks. So we went out for some drinks and food. It was fantastic. I got home and I thought I would make a video. So I want to talk about the circle of fifths because someone had mentioned in a comment in one of my other videos that was something they struggled with. And it took me a long time. Long being a couple years, right? Not like decades, but a couple years to really kind of wrap my head around how I can use it. And that's what I want to talk about, like how I use the circle of fifths. Not necessarily how a blog post or some other person will tell you how to use it, but just my experience, like how I finally figured out a way to make it useful. But before I do that, I wanted to do, I guess, kind of an update. So, somewhere at the beginning of January, I mentioned that I had this test that I wanted to do. And the test was for 3 months, I wanted to make a video every day. And at the end of that 3 months, I wanted to see kind of what did that look like. But I started kind of late. I probably started about this time. So it's been about a month. It was like 7 days in, right, before I actually started to do it. So we're a month in. We got 2 months to go in my test. And I haven't made one every day, nearly every day, almost every day. There's some days, and the mini pedal board may help, but there's some days when my gear's in the other room or it's in the trunk of the car. I just get done playing and I just don't feel like it. So I haven't done that. So I've done some like shorts where I take like a clip of a video and I make a short out of that, a remix or whatever they call it. But most days, I create a video. And some of them, honestly, I think are dumb. And there's no reason for me to release them. There's actually one that I made when I went down this sound rabbit hole where I'm like, because I hate the sound. Let me just say, I hate the sound. Um, but there was one where I went down this rabbit hole of like trying to get a better sound, and I bought this lav mic, and it was wireless, and I tried a bunch of different things, and I wasted a bunch of time um, trying to do that. Um, and I trashed that video because the content of that video was suspended chords. I kind of talked through how I use suspended chords, why I like them, the different types, and when to use them. But like that took a back seat to all this production stuff of like trying to get the sound right. And in the end, I couldn't get a good mix between the amp and my voice, so I trashed the whole thing. And the videos kind of suck, so I trashed them too. Disclaimer that I'm trying some new stuff with the audio to try to fix it so that it sounds okay, but I don't add a bunch of work. So now I have all I have is an SM57. Um, I could buy the SM7B, but I don't know. I think it's like $400. And if I buy it and it doesn't work like I want it to, I've wasted that money because I don't have anything else to use it for. So I have the SM57 and a little, I think it's a drum mic stand for like a bass drum, but I use it for my amp. I don't know if you can see. It usually has a mic on it. Well, it's over here now. And I'm going to try putting it in different places, like up here, over here, over here. And it doesn't ruin the video because I can just release the video if the audio sucks. But try to see if I can mix something and get something that sounds a little better to where I can spend just a few minutes in like Premiere Pro, sync things together, and EQ the sound a little bit to make it sound a little better. That's all. Just to sound a little better without. I still want to be able to fire this up, talk, play some guitar, and be done with it. So there's that. Okay, back to the uh, the 3 month trial. 1 month in, it's working. Videos that used to get, I don't know, 30 views in their lifetime are getting like 400 and 500. So it's YouTube is putting it in front of more people, and those people seem to like it. I get random comments that I think are negative. They don't make any sense to me, so I just don't respond. And my comments are not um, filtered or moderated at all. It's like I just figure whatever, right? If you got something bad to say, then maybe I need to hear it. I don't know. So there's that. The views have across my channel have definitely gone up. The subscribers not as much, um, but I'm not as concerned about that as I am just kind of sharing my experience and and seeing if it helps people or um, I know I like to watch videos like that, right? To compare it against my own experience, to kind of hear what another player goes through, what they think, to see if it sparks something in me, possibly. So that's cool. So that's happening. It's going up. I had this. I guess it's an experiment, but I didn't intend it for it to be. There's so much content on the internet about YouTube videos and how to make them, how to grow your channel, and all this other garbage. And I saw something that said that you should, when you make a video, it should be private until you fill out all the details and then make it public. In my experience, that is not true. Whenever, whenever I do that, and I make a video private, and um, I add the description and the tags, all that other stuff, and then I make it public. It just sits there dormant. It doesn't do much. Now, if I just release it immediately and worry about the thumbnail and stuff after it's released, right? Because who's going to see it anyway, right? To be honest, in the first 30 minutes, it does way better. It's almost like YouTube's algorithm picks up that a new video has been released, and if you release a new video and it's private, it still picks up that video and goes, "Oh, he doesn't want to show this to anybody." And then when you go public, it's too late. It's already moved on. That's what I think. So now I think I'm just going to just upload it, right? And if it doesn't have a good description at first, and it doesn't have a good thumbnail, like, who cares? Hopefully it's content based, and what I'm talking about is entertaining and educational and helpful to someone, or they have an alternative opinion than mine, and I would like to hear that too. So that's it about where we're going. So we've got 2 more months, roughly every day. I'm still like calling it every day, and I try to do something every day, but some days I just can't, and I don't beat myself up over it. It is what it is. Oh, one more thing I learned. So the last video I made was 3/4 time and 6/8 time, and how they differed and what they had in common. And I had pretty clear opinions on the two. I've done both a fair amount, but what I found was like I was just rambling on this video, and I had no direction, and I kept repeating the same things. And I don't know how anyone would like that video, because it's not coherent at all. So, and I have no intention of like scripting out what I want to say. I just kind of want it to fly from the hip, like whatever. It's a conversation. Whatever comes out, comes out. But I noticed that one was like unhinged for sure. So I think one of the not rules but tips, I guess, or guidelines that I go by are like, if you're going to talk about something, just some sort of outline, just a bulleted list of like, I want to say this, I want to say this, I want to say this, I want to say this. And I did that with the circle of fifths thing. That I have 4 or 5 things that I want to talk about. All right, I think that's it for that stuff. I'm really curious how this mic's going to work out. I wish you could see it. It's a 57, but it's cardioid. I think I'm saying that right. If you people are really familiar with mics, you might tell me I'm wrong. And it's kind of like in between the amp and me. I'm going to EQ it and see what it sounds like. So this video may have external audio synced up, or it may just be iPhone audio, meaning that it's still going to sound kind of bad, and you're probably going to hear the furnace running and all other kinds of stuff. We'll see. I'm going to play with it to see if I can get something that works. Oh yeah, that was the other thing. If I get to the end of March and this continues on the thing it's going, I think I'll actually upgrade gear, and I'll buy like a DSLR and maybe a shotgun mic or something. But right now it doesn't seem feasible, because everything I bought just sits, because I buy it and I go, oh, this sucks. and I toss it aside because it's an extra level of work that I don't want to do, or it doesn't sound good enough. My problem is I can't get the amp and my voice both to sound good. I can mic the amp and the amp sounds great, but then my voice sounds like trash. Or I can get my voice to sound good, but the amp's all muffled and the guitar sounds bad. I'll figure it out. Okay, circle of fifths. Let me grab my notes. All right, here we go. Okay, let's see what I wanted to do. All right, so I'm going to show it to you, and then I'm gonna go through it. Ah, shoot! Wish I could Is there a way to pin this so it's no? So I'm gonna have to do something like this. Oh my gosh! You know what? I'm just gonna download this image. Can I do that? Save. No, can't do that either. Okay. I'm going to set the guitar down and then show this image. All right, here we go. All right, circle of fifths. Starts at the top, goes C, C, C. All right, C, G, so on and so forth. So those are the fifths, right? Directly under this, you're going to see the minor, right? So C has should be an A, yeah, A minor. Each fifth going this direction has a minor under it. That's the relative minor. Okay, da 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 da. The other direction, this way, are fourths. Right, those are fourths. So the first point of the circle of fifths are relative minors and moving in fifths, right? So on guitar, we start on C, the fifth, so that's the fifth degree of the scale. Doesn't matter if it's major or minor, because it's a perfect fifth, meaning it's neither major nor minor. So on guitar, the fifth, if you're rooted on the A string, is going to be directly above you. G. If you're rooted on the E string, it's going to be 2 frets up on the A string, right? And it's all 12 keys. So this is a way to go through all 12 keys and to practice something through all 12 keys. So that would be C, G, E, A, E, F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, E sharp, so on and so forth, all the way through till you get to F sharp. So one good way that I've seen a lot of people use the circle of fifths is practice. So if you're going to practice a line or an arpeggio, the circle of fifths is a good way to go through all the keys. So let's say you're going to do a major arpeggio. C sharp, D sharp, so that would make the B right here, F, and then back to C. said F sharp, I meant F. That's all the way around. All right? So. All the way around. So it's a good way to practice a line. And it could be any. So on and so forth. It's a good way to practice all of those lines. So that's the fifth part. I want to talk briefly about what I'll talk about at the very end, which is the way that I use it the most. C major, no sharps. G, one sharp, that's F sharp. D, two sharps. A, three sharps. E, four sharps. B, five sharps. So on and so forth, all the way through. So one of the major ways I use this, and I'm going to show you some sheet music at the very end of this, is to look at a staff of music and determine what key it's in. So I can look at it and go, if it has two sharps in it, I know it's D. I know that's the key of D. If it has three, I know it's A. So on and so forth. And the same thing for flats, but in the opposite direction. So it's force. So C, F, sharp, so that'd be sharp. Oh, wait. I don't know. I don't want to think about it right now. But the force just goes in the opposite direction. Okay? I'm going to grab the chart again. All right. Okay. Briefly talk about relative minors. So when you don't know all of your keys or scales yet, like in the beginning, the circle of fifths is really helpful for determining keys and relative keys and that. Like as you progress, as you gain more experience, that fades away. You no longer need it. But in the beginning, when you look on those circle fifths, then you know that the relative minor of C is A minor. The relative minor of G is E minor. The relative minor of D is B minor. Relative minor of A is F sharp minor, so on and so forth. And in the chart, you can see that right under the note. So C, it has A, F has, what would F be, D? E, I'm sorry, G would be E, D would be B. Oh, we go A, yeah, D, B, A, F sharp minor, so on and so forth. So that's how you read that. Top being the key, the secondary part being the relative minor. And the relative minor is just, I talked about modes slightly. It's the Aeolian mode of the Ionian mode, which is the major key. All that stuff flows in. So guitar solo wise, if you're playing in C and you like to play minor, say minor pentatonic, You can play the A minor pentatonic over anything in C, just about anything, but we won't dig into that. But you can play the A minor pentatonic over C. The other side, if you're playing, say, E minor, you can play the G major pentatonic over that, which is typically what I do. I think of like, and this chart may help that, I think of minor keys in their major relative equivalent. I don't know the right word, but I think of the major portion of that and I mix that in with the minor stuff. It's the same notes, but it has a different tonality because it has like a different tonal center. So it sounds slightly different, even though it's the same notes. The C major pentatonic and the A minor pentatonic are the same notes. They just sound different based on the tonal characteristics. Okay, well, let's talk about the very bottom of this. See that down there? It has two notes. That's because we're going fourths on one side and fifths on the other, so it can be either or. That's the pivot point. Okay, and you can see what I was talking about. See the staffs next to the notes, C, G, D. See how G has one, D has two, A has three. That's how you can look at a piece of music and instantly know what key it's in. Without the other way is to look at the chords and then figure out what that has to be. Which, if you're looking at a chord chart, that may be what you do. Especially if it's like a number chart, you may go, oh, this has a C major and a D major. That has to be the 4 and the 5. This has to be G. And hopefully you're right. Sometimes I run into that stuff and it's some weird mode and I don't know. But most of the time I can decipher, especially if there's two major keys next to each other. You just have to use a bit of logic to extrapolate what key those chords make the most sense in versus just looking at something and knowing what key it is. Admittedly, I'm better at figuring out major keys or keys with sharps in them, sharp accidentals, than I am keys with flat accidentals. Because you saw me stumble over that, I got lost already because I just don't go that way. I almost always go the other way. Let's see. What else? The other thing is modulation. So this is kind of an advanced topic, so I won't get into it a whole bunch. But when you have C on the circle of fifths, you have G is its right neighbor, F is its left neighbor, right? So if you're playing in C, and you have a bridge and you want to modulate to another key, you can modulate to one of the ones on the other side, and it'll still sound good. Let's try it live. See what happens. See, 1, 2, 6. Let's modulate. 1, 2, 3. Doesn't sound bad. In that whole progression, the 2 was the only chord that changed. It's minor in C, major in G. So you can use this if you're playing around and learning modulations, where you're borrowing chords from other keys. You can use that 4 and that 5 or the neighboring notes or chords or keys on the circle of fifths um, to modulate to another key. Okay, sheet music time. All right. Okay, I'm going to open this up to a random page and we're going to figure out what key the song's in. That's an easy one. So we'll do this. This is a real book. It's a jazz book that has, I don't know, hundreds of pages. Are they numbered? Oh, they have to be numbered because how else would you find them? Yeah, 379 pages. That's 500 pages. Okay, so when we look at this one, we know it's C, right? It does not have any accidentals. Accidentals are sharps and flats. Let's flip to another page. Here we go. 2 flats. So what is it? Well, if we start at C, 1 flat would be F, and we go a fourth away, another flat, B flat. This whole song is in the key of B flat. Let's do another one. This one's going to be hard. I got to think about it. All right, here we go. 4 flats. So C, so you got F, B flat, E flat, G flat, or G sharp or A flat. I think this is an A flat. That would be 4. So C to F, F to B flat. So F would be 1, B flat would be 2, E flat would be 2, would be 3, 4, A flat. So that would be A flat. So you know now that in the major key of A flat, because of the circle of fifths, and you're able to calculate that quickly. If I worked in flat keys more often, I'd be able to do that. Like in if those were sharps, I would know 1, 2, 3, 4. That's E. You would be able to figure it out faster. But that's how you would use it. So how do I use it? Well, today it's keys in that book. So when I look at a piece of sheet music, I can read sheet music. I'm not fast. I'm not a sight reader. I can't set it up and read through it. But I can set it up and look at it and figure out the key. And that's really the only thing that I use the circle of fifths for, is figuring out keys. But all those other things are helpful along the way. And I do use it for practice. So if I'm practicing an arpeggio, really that's kind of new to me. So let's say a major 9, I would be... so forth. And that would be a good way to practice that. Or if you're doing... I don't know, some small lick or melody line, whatever you're doing. That's it. So it's everything. It's everything I know about the circle of fifths. That's how I currently use them, unless I discover some new thing that they help me do. So that's it. So if you're just starting out, don't be scared. practice like a small lick or chord thing or an arpeggio or something in every key to kind of get a feel for all 12 keys. That's really important. Like when you learn a song, to be able to play in all 12 keys. That's a good use of the circle of fifths, is to play it in all 12 keys. And to transpose it, you really learn the fretboard well that way. Go backwards. That's jazz stuff, 100%. Jazz is force. So, like a 2-5-1 is 2 down a fourth, a fourth. That whole thing is force. And then the fourth, and then get to a point. I don't know if it's where I'm at or if it's beyond where I'm at. Maybe you can teach me. To use it to be able to look at a piece of music and go, I know what key that's in. I know what chords are available to me, unless we're borrowing chords from another key or modulating at some point. And I know what I can play over top of that. If I'm going to play modally, I know what works over top of that. And that's it. So Friday night, had some good food, and see if this microphone works. And that's it for Circle of Fifths. Enjoy the rest of your night, and I'll talk to you later.